Hello and welcome to episode 30 of the Sketchbook. Tonight we are going to continue what we did yesterday. Yesterday we did concept designs for, 16 different buildings. And we started by doing these silhouettes that had no implications on how it actually turned out. It was more to give an idea straight from the beginning. Today we're going to continue doing that, and I have already today prepared the 16 drawings that we are going to base the buildings upon. And in the end we have 32 buildings, and I'll be picking a few of them in the end of the stream, and then we are going to really dive into those and draw them from different angles and figure out what would be around them, and just kind of like start to build from there. And we will do that tomorrow as well. We will continue with those, and then on Tuesday we are going to start building them in Houdini. Like, we'll start modeling them in 3D and putting them into the scene that they are going to be in the end. And the idea is that we will get a full block of a city that we can put our camera into and get some good shots for some illustrations. And likewise I have that area then for my graphic novel. As I have said before on the stream, I'm drawing this graphic novel, and I'm slowly going through all of the parts that needs to be there, specifically for the backgrounds. And this area that we started by designing about a week ago is going to be one of the main areas where the protagonists are living. So it's very important to get everything in the right place, so that when they're looking out the window you can start to get a feel of where in the world they are. So with that, I think I have some other announcements that I would like to do straight away. Let's see if I remember which it is. Yeah, so the 1st of June I am doing a giveaway, and it's a giveaway that it's in the form of a lottery, in which if you are a follower you get a ticket for this lottery, and what you can win is you can win a portrait painting done by me, which I'll do live on the stream, and it can be a portrait painting of anything that you want. You can provide a picture and I will do a portrait painting of that, unless it is pornographic or racist or homophobic, then I won't do it. So don't even think about that. Yeah, so by following you get one ticket. For every half an hour you are in the stream watching me up until then, you get another ticket. I have a bot that monitors this, so it adds it automatically. And then the 1st of June I will be drawing the lottery and figuring out who wins, and then I'll be contacting them for the picture that they want drawn. So that day we won't start drawing it probably, since I'll be waiting for the picture. So that will probably be the day after or something like that. Who knows? But I'll be drawing that live on the stream, so you can follow the technique that I'm using when I draw and you can see the technique, or you can see the end product of that technique as my profile picture. It's still, I would consider, one of my best drawings I have done. So, but let's get busy here with these buildings and the building design. And as I said, I have made the silhouettes for all those buildings, like these 16 buildings, and we will just start going through them. And they might not be using all of the silhouette or go over the silhouette. We don't really care. It's just there to give kind of like some ideas, some quick ideas on how to proceed with the building. So I'm going to zoom in. I usually work at 50%. It seems to be a good area for me, and I will make sure that I'm using the correct brush, which would be, I use this soft round pressure size brush. It is a standard brush in Photoshop. Basically, when you draw, or when you press very lightly, it makes light lines, and when you press hard, it makes hard lines. Pretty easy. Is there anything else before I start? Yeah, I'm not gonna be using a timer base today. I'm just gonna start drawing, and each of them are gonna take as much time as they do. I am, however, gonna start by numbering them. And since we did 16 yesterday, I guess I could quickly call up the 16 so that you can see roughly what I mean with. So here we have the 16 from yesterday, and it's basically just the blocks for it. There is no major detailing, because the major detailing will be in the when I'm drawing them on all sides and figuring out how they actually look. It's more kind of like the forms, like the big forms that I'm looking at here. So let's get started. And I'll kind of like try and explain my thought process as I'm going along so that you can follow that. I'm pondering whether I should put some music on in the background. It would mean that the music that I'm listening to right now would have to stop, and I don't really like that. So put on your own music. The reason I'm not going to play that is because Twitch will stop the sound in those areas where it finds copyrighted music. But for reference, I'm listening to the Crystal Method Community Service 2 right now, the album. So I might be dancing around a little in the chair. Just so you know. Let's get started. Give me 1/2 second. There. Okay. So as I said, I will start by numbering these, and we had come to 17 because we did 16 yesterday. So 18. Even my 7-year-old daughter can count this. And I'm aiming at doing the concept for all of them today, and then probably a few of them, of the 32 that we'll end up having, I will dive into today. Let's see, because my wrist is hurting a little bit, so This gives me a chance to warm up as well, since I apparently can count. 30 comes before 31. There. So let's get started with the first one. As we can see, it's like a big block. And I was going through the ones yesterday, and I didn't have enough of living area buildings, so residential buildings basically. So I was thinking that today I will really focus on that. So the idea is that all of these people are living in this spaceship that basically has like small cities in it, and well, they have to live somewhere in there, don't they? So I'm kind of thinking that we could have like some form of roof here, and then let's see if that helps. And then looking kind of like at the forms that I could put in here, since it is one big area. We could, for example, have, yeah, actually that makes a lot of sense. So if we have this part here, that is basically just the block that we're seeing, and then it goes in over the other one, and this would be a little further up. So here's the ground floor when it's standing on the ground, and we then have kind of like this. That one would be more up. So this kind of like comes on an angle like this. And we could, for example, add, well, maybe you would need to have entrances on both sides. I'll just add like these lines, which are basically like streets that will give me some information later if I go through this one, that people are coming out from both sides there. Then since we have these big areas, we kind of have to split them up a little bit. If they're too big, then it's gonna be boring. So I was thinking maybe, let's see, here, let's see, this would basically come like this instead, and then go over, and this would come up as well. And as I said yesterday, I'm not really that concerned when it comes to the perspective, because we are going to first of all redraw them not only as a sketch, but also once we start modeling them, we are going to completely get perspective correctly. See here, for example, this wouldn't come up like this when because of the perspective, but again, who cares right now? It's all about the idea coming down and maintaining that idea. And I did this a lot yesterday as well. Like I make this kind of like groove into the top of the house. I'm like kind of thinking that, you know, big hovercraft or whatnot could land there, and then of course we have to have some masts on it as well, and maybe even some form of, even though that's like really old school to have kind of like these radio signal antennas, but just so that there is something. And then let's do like, yesterday I did this a lot as well. It's a quick way of adding windows and thereby adding the size of the thing, simply by just going in and removing some of these lines here. You get kind of this this idea of some windows lighting up or whatever. And let's do that here as well. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because it's just an insinuation that there is some windows there. They don't even have to be you know, the same size, all of them. There. I'm not really liking this this form here. Like, I can see too well that there is a perspective problem. So I'm going to try and fix it a little bit. And if we, for example, draw this one from here and down, so now it kind of end connects there. And then we will have to here give this more this way. So I'm thinking of this as a plane that is basically here, and that would then mean let's actually really make it a plane. And let's see. I'll just erase that instead and say goes out there and then here and then comes back in roughly. Now we can connect those, and then it doesn't completely fix the perspective, but it helps it a lot. Maybe we can even see a little bit of this. That goes down. And again, I'm going to, since we have to have a lot of people living here, so yeah, good enough. I'm still not completely sold on the idea yet, but it's probably because this goes in. It ruins it a little bit, but I think I will know roughly what I'm meaning here. And I always like to add this thicker line in the bottom, because it kind of fastens the building on the ground floor. Okay, let's say that was that one for now. I know it's not in perspective, but that's okay. So this next one, which basically looks like a K, there is a really easy way to use this one, and I think I'll actually do that. So basically you have it's seen from the top. Let's see. And here would be another building. And another one. So there is 4 buildings in this. I'm trying to make them as like that they look the same as possible, because I think this will be a perfect 4 building complex. So one could imagine that they have like the same street name, but then the building has different numbers, and maybe down here would be able to see, I don't know, that would probably be like some grass area or something like that. And again, I want to add a little bit of this indentation here in the top. And I know my lines are not completely straight right now. Again, I'm not really concerned about it, because these are just kind of like concept noodles, or doodles, not noodles. What the hell? And then there would be rotate the canvas so that I can get some easy lines in. And it would be the same on these. Just some quick lines, and then erase some of the line, and kind of looks like there's windows, doesn't it? Well, I hope so, at least. And finally, I'm gonna have to have these again. There, so now you're looking down in it. Next one, I'll save and grab a little bit of coffee. That is disgustingly good. Give me a second here. The next one has a pretty weird form, and I'm not entirely sure yet what I can make out of that form. So I think that I have been using this with the split up of the building a little too much. I think I have quite a few of them here as well. Split up there, split up there, split up here, and here as well. And I think it's time to kind of wheel it in with that. So trying to figure out, could have something with, there is kind of like a circle here, but then that would make it a little bit harder to build. Of course, also have to think whether it would be buildings that would actually be built if one had made them or designed them. So what could we do? Yeah, okay. So maybe if I start here, and this would be the floor, it would probably be more angled. Like this, and then this would be the floor as well. And let's see, what did I have of idea? Yep. So I was thinking of kind of, let's see, just thinking that the base could kind of like be a normal building, and then there comes a skyscraper out of that, so to speak. So now I'm seeing how I can get these lines to help me with that. Mean that this comes here, and if it's, then it would go basically over to here, and then in behind, and maybe it has this thing in, and it would probably be a little bit thicker in the bottom than in the top, so that the weight would be distributed better. Let's see, kind of like this part, and then have this, and yeah. Now I'm trying to split this up because it's a little bit too big a surface. So I want to split it up into different areas. Let's try and get those lines a little better. making it a little more flat in the front. And here there might be like an extension where this radio thing is on. This would probably be more angled in the like if it's going in here. So I'm thinking that it would go in like this, and then there would be apartments all the way up here and apartments here. Yeah, let's say that was that one. And continue with the next one. Now we're gonna have to add this these lines that become windows. Because again, it gives a sense of size. Let's do the same here and here. And I'm going to rotate the canvas so that I get these laid out here. Add some more lines here so that it really looks big once we make them into windows. Thank you, Fatman Lek, for the hosting. Welcome to the drawing channel. Today we are doing building designs or concepts, and like yesterday. And the aim is tonight to make at least 16 and then start making details on some of the ones that I like the best. So the next one, I have made these silhouettes in the background, and they are to help me fill in the blanks, basically. The next one here, I'm kind of seeing a form in that I will try to get. So I'm thinking if the building goes up like this, see, it's roughly the same here, and then it would go roughly the same down, but it should have a little bit of volume, of course. Let's draw that volume there. Now we can see it a little better. I was thinking if we do it like this, and then there is a plane here as well. So it's practically like this, almost like a phone standing. And I'm not so worried with the perspective, once again, because once we draw them properly, we are going to get the perspective correctly there, since I'll lay in a perspective grid and everything. But of course, the main faults that I see, I'm going to fix straight away. And then I was kind of thinking that out from that, there is this this ball, and that would be, let's see, how would I do this? In order to add apartments, I would add these lines and then erase parts of those to create windows, as you can see on the other ones. Basically just, and here would obviously be the connections, and now we will erase here, and then hopefully should look like we have buildings or windows there and people living there. There. Thinking whether I like this form here in the back. I was thinking maybe I will add a little bit of support by splitting it up into two. Now it's kind of better supported, I think. I'm still thinking whether it's too simple in the form. So these are just the, you know, the forms, and then we will add detailing like, I don't know, exhausts and stuff like that later. Now let's see once we add windows here, how it starts looking. And now I'm just gonna erase some of these lines, and what is left we imagine is windows or paneling or something. The idea is not to have it too uniform, then it won't read like anything. And it looks pretty big, I guess. And here we are gonna add this clean in and make it straight, obviously, since the form itself is like leaning. See, that would go here basically. So before you are transported away, I wanted to quickly go over the giveaway that I'm having. All you have to do to be part of the giveaway is follow the stream, and the 1st of June you will be maybe the lucky winner of a portrait painting that I will perform for you of whatever you want, practically, with a few small stipulations. And this portrait painting you can, for example, use as your profile picture if you want. That's perfectly allowed. Let's say that was that one, and then have like some entrances here. That's some big entrances. Maybe there's even like some form of futuristic trains that comes there. Goes in and then continues in the back here. Okay, let's take the next one. So the next one, I think I made kind of flat because I wanted it. I wanted to have more of these smaller buildings as well, since we're doing living quarters today. And I'm kind of looking into how I would do this one the best. Maybe like this. No, that would not make sense. It would be more like this. Quickly add a little bit of definition here in the top. And split these up. Let's see, maybe some form of tunneling, just to make something different from all the others into like a building that would be here. See, that would be more like this. This could, for example, be like some parking area, or who knows. Just some few lines to kind of describe a small building. They shouldn't all be like this grand. I will now add windows. that. And then, as always, I'm going to add a thicker line on what hits the ground. That will kind of anchor the sketch to the ground floor. And it will help me in the end to see what I was in, what the intention was. That's what I'm trying to say. So next one, let's see. I'll grab some coffee. Here I'm kind of thinking maybe something like this as being the one building. Can I get away with adding another one of those? Like here. Maybe. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, and maybe even one more. Yeah, if we do that, then we could theoretically, let me just add the building and then finish that thought. Yeah. So we could actually theoretically have like these tunnels or kind of like bridges between them. Let's see how that looks. Say this one goes over there. And say that they are kind of like the same building or same area, and then look at the street. Could have like a park here. I like that. Okay. And then again, add some windows. Yeah, let's say that's that one. Hold on. Okay, 2 minutes. Let's look at the next one. What could we do here? Let me just quickly add this. Yeah. I kind of want to mix this in so that something is sticking out from some of them. Like it's easy to just make a normal building, but that's kind of boring. But let's see once we start what we get. Yes. Starting to think kind of something like this as the base form. And maybe it has a part that goes out on the sides here. Kind of the same building, just a smaller version of it. Let's make it go down all the way. Hello, I would like to thank you for Electro Skateboard for hosting me. Welcome to the stream. As I was saying, tonight we are making buildings, and I have started by drawing these silhouettes, and then I'm kind of filling them in as I go now, and trying to talk through the thought process that I'm having. As it was yesterday, I am still having this this giveaway where the 1st of June I will be drawing a lottery for the people who are following me, and there you can win a like a picture that is drawn by me. Basically you can decide what it should be. So be sure to follow. You will get a chance for a lottery ticket, and for every half an hour you get that you are watching me live, you get another lottery ticket. Here I'm now just gonna make these lines again that are gonna serve as windows, and as I erase, hopefully it will show up as a big house with a lot of windows. So we are doing these 32, and then after that I will select a couple of 32 all in all, and we did did these yesterday. After that I will select probably the 4 that I like the best, and then I will start doing actual sketches of them in different angles to figure out how the building would look for reals. I'm going to continue making some of these windows, simply just some lines, and then once I start erasing the parts that are left, kind of looks like, I don't know if it looks like windows, but at least it looks like some detailing that gives a sense of size. Maybe we will extend this building to here and have even more. So I'm kind of thinking that a lot of these buildings should be end up being a little like this Blade Runner style, like these big buildings where lots of people live at the same time. Though I am trying to make some smaller ones so that not all of it will be this big city apartments. And I will be using these for my graphic novel, which is why I'm making them. There. I'm leaving these blank because I think they will probably serve as kind of like solar cells or something. Or then maybe there is a hologram dancing there or something like that. So that was that one, and I will move to the next one. I'll just quickly add a thicker line here in the bottom, which will help ground the building to the ground plane. And then I'll continue. So the next one here, I'm kind of thinking this this round thing, and it's probably sitting on top of the roof. This kind of like is already done in a way, right? Like it's basically just this form that I'm thinking. Almost like a chess piece. Let's see how we can ruin that chess piece. I'll quickly add this. So there is this, again, maybe this is connected like that, and let's at first start by adding windows. Again, they give like a sense of the scale, which helps quite a bit. Oh. So I'm usually doing this from Tuesday to Sunday, sitting and drawing, and of course everyone is welcome to come and look if they want. And also, in case you're an aspiring artist and you have some questions, I will try and answer as truthfully as possible. still thinking this is too simple in some way. I'm actually starting to think of an idea of a donut shape around this, where people also live. And then there would be like these connections, tunnels into the main structure. Yeah, let's try that. This is all, or this is the reason why I'm doing this, to figure out different shapes and cool ideas. So there. Thinking whether we should kind of cut this out as well. And of course we have to have this, so I basically all the time draw these things. They don't really do anything other than just show a little bit of, or help showing a little bit of stuff. There. I think that's it for that one, and I'll go to the next one. Let's see. But before you all transported away, I want to thank you for coming, and I hope you have enjoyed. And I think the next one will probably be some gaming things. So enjoy your evening. Here I had this idea of, or I'm having this idea of these kind of blocks that have been put on top of each other. Let's see. Try and make some form of form out of it. Basically be this one here. And again, I'm not really concerned about the perspective because it will be fixed when I start the sketches here. But I was kind of thinking something along the lines of this. This one would go in front and go down. Maybe this goes out a little further. Yeah, to actually be this line. So I'm practically just winging this, but that's okay. And I'm not really seeing how this would stand on the ground, but as I said, I'll figure that out as I go along. And then I'm kind of seeing these skyscraper parts, like the normal skyscrapers that we know, stick out from this. And I was just thinking maybe if we take this part here and extend it down so that we get the ground plane. And then we would have like these pillars that stick down to support this. I don't know who would make that type of building, but the person who designed it should be fired. Let's see, probably one there as well. I have to admit that I don't really like this one. It's not, it doesn't really make any sense, but that's again the thing with when I do this shape, these shape compositions, it's to figure out what works and what doesn't. This number 26, it seems pretty straightforward for what I had in mind. Of course, there always has to be like these buildings that do in fact look exactly like we expect them to. Without that, you would have to start explaining why the buildings don't, especially considering that this is supposed to be humanoid or humans into the future that are living here, so they wouldn't change that much, I guess. So I'll just draw this straight as it is insinuated here in the silhouette. I was thinking a kind of like this shape. Could imagine that people are living here. Would be cool. Then it is a little bit different. Yeah. There, we'll make the ground again a little bit thicker. And let's actually add these windows again, just so that we have this idea that people are living in here. No. And the same on these. I'll turn the canvas a little bit so that I make the same line as the perspective ones. And here it kind of changes. And let's do the same here. And then erase some of it out. And that should hopefully give us this feeling that there is a lot of windows. And the same on these. I think after this sketch I will take a 5-minute break to get some more coffee, and then once I return we will continue with 27 through 32. Let's see, this becomes here. And I'll actually rotate the canvas a little bit because that's, while we are not really concerned about the perspective, of course, making lines that I can see is completely against the perspective is, I'll stop and fix. There. And then let's add a little bit of ground area surrounding it. There. Okay, so, and of course we turn off this. So I will take a 5-minute break, and when I come back we will continue with 27. So stay tuned and thanks for watching so far. Okay, I'm back. Let's this time switch over to Photoshop view so that you can see it better. So we were about to look at building number 27, and let's see what we can figure out here. Again, I'm looking at different shapes that could be interesting. Yeah, so I think this could be pretty interesting. I'm going to add a kind of front here and then have it swing inwards, like kind of backwards. Let's see, it would go over here. And we need some thickness on it as well. Go down to here, for example. No. So I'm kind of thinking like that this would be the bottom, obviously. Add it like this, so that this would be the foot of the building, but I'm kind of wondering how it would connect here, because I would actually like it to kind of turn a little. So maybe I'll remove this and see what I can do with that. So I'm thinking that the building is twisting on itself. Say that it starts twisting here. Which way would be the best to twist it? Would it be this way or the opposite? Maybe this way. And then this would be, let's see, more on an angle. Now, how would I do that? If I start drawing the kind of skeleton to it, from down here, we would see, and then we would see more here and less here, even more, even less. would be too much. We would kind of see the back side of this now. So we would see a little bit of it here as well. But that would still make too much here, so we'll remove the top and continue this. And keep continuing. Yeah, and then let's finally connect it here. And now we would see. So there, now we have this. I would kind of like to add a little bit more swing, just so that it starts a little earlier and then the swing is not as sharp. And let's see what we can find of shape here. And maybe one of these globes, and then it's connected here. The idea is that these globes have a lot better view. I guess that's why they would add them, and here would again be these. Okay, and then let's add another. Let's see. Yeah, so let's have some more. So I'm trying to determine how big I want this to be, depending on how many of these lines I put. When I start erasing, the size that the in between them kind of determines the size of the building, because it's the only reference that we have that for humans to measure with. And if you think that you're living here, it means that you're living very high up. Maybe we'll add a little bit of extra support here. Yeah. And again, we would have, the idea is that this whole thing is living areas, and then it swings around. I'm not gonna draw them all in, because I already know that it's gonna be there. I would of course draw it in if I decide that this is one of the buildings that I like. Thank you for the follow, Judgmatical YRN. You are now in the running for the picture contest. Okay, here I have gone completely nuts with on the next one. 28 is completely bonkers. I have no idea how I can make that into anything. So allow me to sip a little bit of something to drink and see if I can find a form within this. It's really not giving me anything, but if I start by adding some lines that could be something, maybe something will come out. What happens if we make the building here? And then it becomes maybe it's a little hourglass formed or shaped like this. And maybe it has a side building here behind it. What happens if we extend the building a little further down so that the side building and this building are on the same structure? That could work. It's a little bit simplistic, but as I said earlier, not all the buildings should be some weird buildings. If you look at cities, even today, not all of them has weird shapes like all the buildings. I will rotate this a little bit and add the lines for the windows here. As we come to the middle here, that would be the horizon line. So then it starts to go that way, roughly. And this goes out a little. No, it could actually go out. So it would basically be going out like this if it's the side of the building. Yep. 29. What can we do with that one? Here I definitely want to have a kind of a part in between. Maybe it's built on top of kind of like a freeway or highway or something. Maybe there's more than one lane. Like that. Would kind of show a little bit of that, what I had intended. And this would go up. Let's see. Then it would have. So now we have the side. Of the building. And maybe it goes up like this and then down here, up again. And down. I think I almost want another one of these car lines here. Thank you, Twitch Blue Cat, for the host. So I'm doing these buildings, trying to. I've made these silhouettes behind, and I am trying to find some form of direction for them, what it could be. And here I have been thinking that I would have these, these are not lined up, but they would be in the final sketch. So I'm thinking that I have this, these roads going in to the building and coming out on the other side. Now this shape is a little bit too simple. I want to split that up a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with it. I could of course just add this insinuation of windows, but I'm thinking maybe having some other forms on it to kind of split it up a little bit. I'm thinking maybe there is a part of the housing that is kind of like sticking out. maybe even, I haven't really been experimenting with that, so I could try on this one. So maybe even have like these parts that go in, so that some of the building goes out and then behind it goes in. I don't know how to explain it better than that. So this would be kind of like a groove in. And it would go down here. So basically this part is now sticking out in front of this. Question is, I think I would actually want to do that all the way down. At least to here. And probably even further down. There. And the same for this. I would just to try something new, like maybe we should make this line a little thicker. So this would be some form of cylinders that are holding up those driving lanes. Yeah, let's say that's that, and then start adding the windows. Then afterwards I can see if it's split up enough. I'm just adding these lines, and then once I start erasing, it will hopefully read as windows. And that will then give a sense of size. So again, in the end of this stream, I am going to take a couple of them and draw them in different angles, the ones that I like the best. Kind of like to figure out let's actually shade this in. That goes in here. Yeah, kind of to figure out how those few buildings that I pick, how they look in different angles. Here I'm also gonna, now I'm gonna look at where the horizon line would be. So we are seeing the top here, which means the horizon actually is up here somewhere. So, not that it matters that much on these yet. But it's a good practice. No. I don't think it's really working. I think there is there's two big areas that are too simple. No. Well, let's say anyways that it's good enough on this one. I think maybe I have made the scale too big, and that's why it doesn't quite work. Oh well. And as always, we need to have these. I always add them. In the future, they probably don't have that type of radio antennas, but they help explain the building a little better, because we are using some of the foreign language that we see on buildings in today's society. Okay, let's go to the next one. Yeah. The next one, actually the next three, they have like really weird shapes. So I'll just quickly take a sip. I guess I was running out of ideas and just smashed something together. Okay. Let's see what we can get out of this. I'm just gonna start and then see if something comes up. I'm probably gonna try a few things that are not really gonna work, but we can always erase again. Let's see. So I'm just trying to find some forms in this chaos. Let's see, so that would be roughly here instead. I don't like the idea of of this being out of shape, especially not that much. It would not be structurally sound, I guess. Can have a little bit of lean, like that one. Would still not be that much. So every time we have kind of like a bend, of course it adds this kind of structural weakness. Not that I'm a structural designer, but when it looks out of balance, I'm sure it is out of balance as well. So if I do like this, let's let's imagine actually take that away and imagine that this part goes here. I think it's good we are ending with these because it seems like I'm just making boxes now. Like I'm thinking, why would this not just be on top? Like it wouldn't make sense to have that connect in, if you know what I mean. So why not just take that away? Unless you're aiming for something like what is it? It's called Player One, Ready Player One, where they just build on top of other buildings. That would make a little more sense if we cut this away. And then up here we could have this type of form, since it's the top part, so it's not really that much about keeping balance anymore. I would want to have that going here instead. And it goes behind that one. There'll be a little bit of shadow here just to indicate, but now this box here, it's like way too boxy. I don't like that. So if we had it there, I would want to make it more like this, and the same here in the back. And I would probably also cut some of that one away. But there would still have to be kind of a reason for why the structure is like this. Gonna start cutting into it just to see if I can figure something out as I go. Maybe a visor here. guess that could work. And then on some of the buildings that I had yesterday, I made this visor. Let's see if I can find it here, and on this one, and here as well. And I made kind of like this, that it can go up and down depending on where it needs to protect or something, because once again it is in a kind of space environment. So I guess that could be the explanation, that in order for that part to have, maybe there would even be like a entrance here for flying cars or something. But I would still want this base to be a little more solid. And it still doesn't really explain it, but since we have 31 others to use, I guess this one just won't be the one that we're gonna like. Some of them are of course not gonna be working properly. The whole idea is to look at what shapes and what shape language would function together, and this doesn't. So I'm just gonna leave it like that and go to the next one, which is basically the same in a way, but I think I might be able to fix it if we say this is a profile image. It wouldn't be that sharp, it would be like this. So I'm thinking of a building, like from the side view. And maybe it's more rounded here. And then it would have these, see, looks more like a soda stream machine right now. I was thinking like if it has these belts around, kind of like the donut shape that we were drawing. Where was that? Here. That it has kind of like these belts where people also can live. So we wouldn't be able to see that or that. And so forth down. like that, kind of. Or maybe that's even like the what is it called, the thing that you're standing on, like the kind of balcony surrounding the building. That could work. That would explain why there isn't any down here. Yeah, let's say it's that. So the last one here, I'm kind of like having this idea that there is that the base is one of these half circles, and then maybe in the middle it goes down, and then there comes up a kind of like a holder, which we of course don't see, but that would be part of the drawing it part. And then we could actually have like all of these small, like this would be apartments, depending on how big they are, the apartment. And some of them are even standing on the, so maybe it's not completely round, but it could be around here. But I had all of these small apartments that are like a block that has then been attached to each other. And so forth. There would be thousands upon thousands of these. And there would be that central pillar that is where these, where there would be elevators for them to get out. And there would be like these entrance areas. And the question is, if all of these apartments are there, how would you get to them? Other than the elevator. Must be annoying moving in. if you live in this apartment here. Like, yeah. I'll start carrying my furniture straight away. This one would actually be pretty hard to model due to all of these. If you have to set up the boxes. But I like the idea because it builds on this one idea that I've had for a very long time. Let's see if I can find the reference for that. See, load. Yeah, this one. So I'm kind of thinking that those small ones would be this type of buildings. That are put on, stacked on top of each other. So that was those 16 and the old 16. Now I will arrange them next to each other so that I can see them, and then I will take a small coffee break, and once I get back I will decide which ones to start drawing on their own. So I will be right back. And I'm back. So now we have to pick a couple of these buildings that we are going to draw, and kind of draw from different angles to figure out how they actually work. So if anybody wants to add their ideas, then they can type it in chat now, and I will see if I agree, and if not, I will pick myself. Let's see, what do I like here? And I think I'll take 2. I'll save this one before I start doing anything. Let's see. What do I like here? What do I like here? I'm kind of liking number 7. I'm kind of liking 7 and 22. So yeah, I like 22 because of this the possibilities that there is with these tunnels between them, like these tunnels in the air. On the other hand, 7 kind of looks like a vacuum cleaner, so maybe well, let's at least start with opening the document in which we will put them in. And then take 22 out. lump it in as one of them, and then let's see with the other one what we will do. I don't know. I like the idea of this these streets that go in on different planes, but that one looked a little weird. So and of course, once I start looking into them, they might change a little bit in the form. $20 could also be interesting. One of these older ones from yesterday. Good question. I think I'll take 6. No. No. I'll save that and then remove the other ones. So now we have the two that we are going to be drawing in different perspectives and stuff. I'll add these in a folder called ref. And we can hide the lower one. Thank you for the host, Netto. So I guess I have to quickly explain what I'm doing. So yesterday I drew these, and today we have just finished drawing these, and I am about to start drawing the two that I like the best in kind of different angles to figure out how they look, how they look in the area surrounding them. So I have just been sitting for around 5 minutes figuring out which two it should be, and I have come to the conclusion that it should be these two, and now I will start drawing them from different perspectives. So the first one here, I'm going to make a perspective grid, and I'm going to imagine that we are standing, let's take a brush, that we are standing around here and looking in at them. Then we would be able to see them both in front of us, the front two, and then in the background the bigger one. Yeah. So what I am going to do is first make a perspective grid. And the first thing I'll do is I will add a horizon line. There. Now we have a horizon line. So since it's gonna be kind of in human perspective and they're pretty big, they will practically be up here. So we are almost an ant looking at them due to their size. And then we are going to be adding the first viewpoint. I'll add a new layer and say for this to work, I have to add two lines, and it will find a it will draw a perspective grid for me. And now we can see that the horizon line is here for that one, so I'm going to move that down. Until it roughly matches the there. And let's see, that would be that's X, sure. And then we will draw another one. And then move the perspective grid as well on that one. And hopefully there is enough data to create a new one. Yeah. Just hide the old one so that it can be seen better, and then let's move it. There. And let's color it. And now we have a perspective grid in a 2-point perspective. No. And I'm going to hide that a little bit. And I'm actually going to log it as well so that we don't accidentally start moving the perspective lines and would have to find them again. Okay, so now we are ready. Of course, as a human standing looking here, this would be our eye line. So if you're having the buildings here in front, we would, I'll have to make this a little bit bigger there. We'll have to find the place where we would see the building. So in order to see them both, if we are thinking that we're standing here looking, they would basically have to start around here, both of them. And now we can match that. For example, this line would be here, and likewise this, which is a little longer, would be here. And I'm still just making a sketch, but now with the perspective grid in mind. And from here we would see, let's see, yeah. So it would basically be like this, and this one would then again be like a lot further back, like around here. And now they are not going towards the perspective, so I have to fix that. Now that one is, that one is, and then we were talking about that in here there will be kind of like this, maybe a park. So it would be around here. And then we would have this kind of pavement where people were walking and stuff coming here, and then this street going out. The street would continue, and the building of course would continue as well, since it's big buildings. And then between these two there would be this kind of tunnel. Let's start adding that now. Let's see. Yeah, so if we say that the tunnel is here, see, it would probably go to checking, it would go to around here then. And now I will rotate the canvas so that I can make a line between. And the same for here. And then we'll remove what is inside. And they usually have this this part surrounding them in sci-fi movies, where it's connected. And we would have kind of the same. And there would, so these buildings, they're like really big, which means that that this would be many planes, like many levels high. And we would probably, if we say that it's like transparent, we would see like the lower part of this one and maybe part of the next one. Let's see, yeah. I'm just kind of winging it right now. They go in here because of the perspective. Not nearly as much as that, though. Maybe we'll add the lines instead, like straight lines. Move this a little bit. Yep. Now we should have two. Go back to the drawing. And let's see, if we look at ways that this has been done before, there would be a, specifically if we look at, see if I can find it here. So up here, when we were drawing that type of, we had these plates here that kind of defined the perspective for it. So I will do the same here by first of all do a I wonder if I need two. I'm actually thinking that I will make a 1-point perspective for that. I might even have like a 1-point perspective brush that I could just plop in straight. Let's see. That was real markers, not interested in that. Ink, not interested. Micron pens. No, so I don't seem to have a perspective brush. So I would have to draw a new perspective from, it would be here, and I guess kind of like that. Let's try that. Okay. Ah, okay. It actually it added it to that one, so that's why. There. Let's try again. Yeah. And now that I have that one, I will have to move it to the where the perspective grid is, and it is actually pretty damn close. A little bit up there, and then let's color it. There. And the reason why I did this is because now I can, if I move this one under, and then let's hide it a little bit. So the reason I made that is that now we know where the perspective lines go on this that goes diagonal. So let's zoom in. So basically by doing like this, I'm now adding those blocks in between. And they will be in perspective. Again, even though it's perspective and these lines could be completely straight, it's not that important. What is important is that that they're roughly the same angle as the perspective would be, because otherwise it will be spotted straight away. And again, I will, with this perspective grid and everything, I will start adding like thicker lines at some point. So now we have those two, and then let's actually add a secondary line here. And that would kind of be, if you imagine that there is a fence up, so that you don't fall over the side. And that would then be straight, the parts that are from that one. And if we make them from here, then we have kind of indicated that where there comes those planks. There is also the fence, and the same here. So now that we have most of the structure for this, I will start looking at this park, because that's what is actually mostly seen, right? So this park here in the middle, this one down here, and again we have to start looking at the size of things. If we are standing here and this, if we say this is like many lanes, this park would basically, if we had trees there, let's make it on a new layer on top. If it was fenced in, for example, would probably be the height of the fence, like the height of a human fence. Let's say it like that. So if someone was standing here, they would be, let's see, standing here like this. Yeah. Why are we having this one? Go away. Something is completely off now. There. Weird. Give me a second. Yeah. Okay. So that means that if we are drawing trees, if there's trees in this park, they would probably be around this size. Maybe some of them a little bit bigger. But in general, they would be that size. I'll actually hide the perspective lines now because they're a little bit in the way, and then the underlying sketch I will make smaller. And now I'm drawing on that one. So there would be a big tree there, and let's make an entrance in the park. That would be a little bit too thick. No. And inside there would obviously be paths as well. It's a small okay, so now weird. This path would obviously go next to that tree now. And there would be an exit there. So now we are basically just drawing in these things, kind of trying to define it a little more and a little more. And if it was a if I was gonna do a full illustration, I would go even further in, and since my level of zoom is quite high, so I can actually go quite far in and still add information on the highest level. I was thinking that here would be kind of like this play area, and if it was an illustration, I would once again go and find references for play parks and use it here. But I think actually, I think for today, this will be it. Then tomorrow we will really start with these, like these small, not illustrations, but small sketches of it, where we will start rotating everything around and figure out how these buildings would be looking. Now we have been investigating a little of how this park area would look. So tomorrow we will be practically looking at this from all angles. And with that, I am going to say thank you for coming, and hope you had fun and hope you learned something. And if not, then hope you're not laughing at me for being not very good. So I'm going to bring up these sketches again and let them stand for a while so that we can see what was done mostly today. Have a nice evening and hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye.